So with Twitter's impending IPO and the astronomical evaluation in the billions, and the fact that they've mentioned television 27 times in their prospectus, I thought that it was worth a little bit of investigation and sort of diving deeper. And when that was, when last week I was sitting with an agency and discussing with their sort of head buyer about their upfront experience this year, and they talked about the consolidation of their dollars and how what they did is actually leverage that purchasing power to get some of the networks to offer them social guarantees against their upfront buys. I was like, okay, I want to know more. So Nielsen, was talking this week about the fact that they've come out with a unique audience rating for Twitter, right? And I have to be honest, I continually am getting more confused. They said on Monday, October 13th, that they're actually going to launch a new product, which is the TV ratings product, the Twitter TV ratings product. And some of their findings were that, basically the total reach on Twitter for an audience around a show is basically a 50 times multiple of the number of unique posts around a show. So if there are 2,000 posts around a TV show, the total Twitter audience is 100,000 individuals that are amplified from those posts, right? If you recall, Nielsen bought Social Guide last November, right? And it's one of the only social TV rating companies that have not been bought by Twitter thus far, given that Trender and Bloomfit were acquired by Twitter over the last year or so. So I'm confused despite how bullish we are about social TV, because the same measurement standards that Nielsen's been using for Twitter TV ratings show that the reality is that the most watched shows are not the most tweeted about shows, right? CBS is the enigmatic example. Like The Big Bang Theory and NCIS are not even in the top 10 most tweeted about shows. Yet we have these breakthrough things like Breaking Bad or Scandal, which actually broke through and their mid-season ratings increased as a result of their cast live tweeting with the show when it first airs and runs. So there's sort of this mixed message about how powerful social is in actually driving television audience and vice versa, right? The reality is that what we need to bear in mind is that the audiences of mass market and mass reach television are different than Twitter, and that's really important. So Ed Keller of the Keller Fay Group, which is sort of a trusted research analyst in television, believes that still today, 80% of conversation about TV is occurring in person, 10% is occurring on the phone, and 10% is occurring online. So whether or not you believe that, the reality is that the water cooler still actually gives water, not necessarily gives posts thumbs up and likes, right? So let's keep compounding the confusion, which is what I like to do before I sort of try and find some clarity, right? A release from Nielsen that's buried on their website on August 6th of this year found a causal relationship between TV ratings and Twitter volume, a two-way causal relationship. So I'm gonna read you a quote verbatim that I pulled out. Using time series analysis, we saw a statistically significant causal influence indicating that a spike in TV ratings can increase the volume of tweets, and conversely, a spike in tweets can increase TV tune-in. By the way, that causality of increased tune-in pre, post, and mid-series, pre, first run, and finale is 1%. But okay, so there are more people tweeting, so more people are tuning in, and there are more people tuning in, therefore more people are tweeting. Is that really a giant discovery? Because it feels like that's just sort of rudimentary math of the law of an approachable audience. And the reality is there's probably going to be more people that are actually on Twitter if you have a larger audience watching them. And if there are more people on Twitter, there are probably more people watching TV too. I don't understand how that's breakthrough and how we're actually hanging our hat on the value of social and its ROI for television as a result, right? So Twitter's kind of won the live TV battle though, right? And that's pretty straightforward. Facebook is sort of fighting for TV value as well. And they've really kind of been known as the digital water cooler, right? When you're actually watching, you tweet. The day after, you talk about the show or you on Facebook, right? That's kind of what everybody accepts. But Facebook has an immense amount of data that Twitter does not have, right? Twitter's this sort of constant stream. Facebook actually knows things like age, gender, and it's an opportunity perhaps for programmers and broadcasters to mine insights around the audiences that are truly tuning in and incentivized or so motivated and loyal to the program that they're actually talking about it online, right? At the end of the day, social TV and its ROI is most valuable though by increasing ratings. At the end of the day, programmers and broadcasters are interested in social because it makes their GRPs more valuable and it's going to garner more dollars in the upfronts year over year. That's the reality of it, right? And the reality is that TV and the activities in social that are around and with it and those behaviors are a long way before we're going to have sort of a scalable, autonomous revenue stream or advertising channel that broadcasters or programmers are going to sell independently. I call this drafting, right? So for me, it's social is an emerging media channel, which we've seen time and time again that actually is struggling to find its own sort of viable, sustainable P&L, and what it's doing is it's drafting off TV dollars and the immense spend there to try and find a secondary or tertiary revenue stream or advertising channel. I'm really interested to see the day when Facebook, for example, and its data is used to mine insights for advertisers, but to actually hold programmers and broadcasters accountable as to whether or not they're really delivering the age and gender audience that they say they are. If you're going to leverage social in these channels to actually make your television inventory more valuable, we have to be prepared as an industry that they also may be used to make you more accountable for the guarantees that you've made in the upfronts and throughout the sales process and the sales cycle. It's a great industry. I'm so treasuring the challenges and the intellectual sort of opportunities here. I welcome you to comment and add some more thoughts. Thanks.